Have you had the review, Rory, on what came up if you had?
I actually missed a review, so I was crook over the weekend, and they had a quick chat on Saturday about it, but we moved on pretty quick. From what I heard, we did some in-depth stuff through the lines today. So there's some obviously areas that we need to improve on from the weekend, and in saying that, it was sort of a 10-minute period that probably was a difference in the game, and other than that, it was a pretty even contest.
What happens when you miss a review? Do you have to dial in on Zoom, or do you get notes?
Nah, I was in bed, so I was just relaxing, although feeling quite sorry for myself at that point. But no, I sort of caught up today with Jack, our backs coach, and spoke to Nixie on the weekend a couple of times. And no, trust me, they make sure you get the information.
How are you feeling? You good now? You don't?
No, I'm sweet. Yeah, yep. I was a little bit croaky going in, and then obviously a big night, and pulled up a little bit slow, but no, I'm all good.
Some of the feedback or some of the criticism has been that maybe you played a little bit safe. Did any of that come up in the review? Do you feel like you didn't take the game on enough as a team?
It's kind of hard to pinpoint in a certain area. It's obviously played into their hands a little bit with how, especially Darcy was able to intercept the ball the other side of it. But at the same time, credit to Collingwood, there's a lot of pressure on. A lot of the times under that pressure, it's hard to be able to take them on off the line and actually try and bypass him. But there's probably some opportunities, that we can look to move it a bit more and not kick to their spare. So in saying that, there's another couple of areas as well that we'll probably improve on as well.
Those areas, what are they?
Well, for majority of the time, it was not too bad. It was just that, as I said, that 10-minute period around the contest, Collingwood amped the pressure up, and we probably didn't match it for that period, and that's where they were able to get that momentum. And as you see, we were able to kick 3 or 4 at the end of the quarter. It's a momentum game, so it's probably another area.
Was your side misbalanced as well? Were there too many defenders in the lineup potentially?
No, not that I can pinpoint out. We've had a lot of flexibility with that lineup and guys that can play on a wing or play forward, and no, I don't think that's the case.
I asked that because obviously Brodie came on as sub, another defender coming onto the ground. Michael only played forward at times.
Yep.
So were you missing something? Obviously, without Rankin, you can't have Matt Crouch to call on anymore. Are you missing something in that midfield? You obviously went through the midfield as well at times.
Yeah, I went in there at the end of the third quarter. No, we had a sort of plan that we wanted to go in with, and where players were lined up. And Brodie is per se a defender, but has come on the last couple of weeks and played wing and played a forward role. So I wouldn't go in and say we overstacked, I guess, one part of the lineup. In saying that they could do something different this week, I'm not too sure what they'll do. So whether that someone comes in or we sort of shuffle around the magnets.
That third quarter third quarter period where Collingwood were able to break open the game coincided with them getting lined onto Dawson. How do you kind of free up the skipper this week to make sure he's at his best? Because Hawthorn have kind of Nash, who's probably an ideal tagger for him.
Yeah. We can probably help Dawson out a bit more. It's obviously he's been one of the premier players of the comp, and they can see how influential he is on games for us and a real match winner. So there's certain tactics and way that we can help Dawes, whether that's around the stoppage or outside the stoppage, to make sure that he doesn't curl his influence too much if that does happen. It can sort of start with the mids inside and helping each other out.
How's Josh Rochelle tracking?
Tracking really well. Glad I'm not in match committee. There's a few decisions to make this week, but I think he's progressed really well over the last couple of weeks, and it's not my decision, but he'll be out there at training tomorrow and put his best foot forward. So I don't know what they'll do.
The last 2 games, you've gone from being the best team from forward 50 points at stoppages, in terms of, North Melbourne's 1 point against Collingwood 0 points. How big of an inclusion would he be in getting that part of your game firing again?
Yeah, it's a strong part of our game that we've had for majority of the year, and it just shows the importance of some players around there that've got that X factor. Obviously, Isaac not being there, and Josh, there's some pretty classy forwards, and there's a lot of other aspects as well. It's not just forward 50, but as I said, I'll leave that for the coaches and the match committee, because it'd be quite a extensive, lengthy conversation, I think.
How do you put the fear of going out in straight sets? How do you put that in your mind?
I haven't even thought about that, mate, to be honest. It's nice to have another chance, obviously, and we've done the hard work to get that and have 2 shots at it. And we understand how well Hawthorn are playing, and in saying that, we got a routine again this week of what we did last week, and could prepare as we did last week. And we thought, as I said, we played a pretty strong game. It was just that 10-minute period. So not on our minds at all, mate. It's about preparing for Hawthorn and going week by week.
You were one of, I think, only 7 that had played in a final before. Looking around at your young teammates, how do you feel they handled and embraced the occasion?
Yeah, it was a pretty big night. Big build-up. Big hostile crowd as well. There's a lot of Collingwood fans there, but no, as I said, it sort of coincides with the game, I think, for majority of it. There's obviously times that there could have been some more composure, and that's from everyone though, not just the guys that hadn't played. So as I said, if we're able to quell that sort of momentum a bit quicker, we might have been a little bit closer at the end. And you also look at the other side, Collingwood are pretty seasoned outfit. They've been through this a lot, and it sort of goes with this week as well. We've sort of done it now. It's out the way. Like it's not like a big thing we were sort of speaking about, but obviously a first final, it ramps up, but we've done it now and we can prepare for this week.
So I guess following on from that, I mean, how important it is now to have those guys have that moment, perhaps some of them not handle it as well as they would have liked, and now go on and take that experience into the next game.
I think that's what AFL footy's all about, mate. Like it's you play these big games even during the season, the in-season games of, Hawthorn and Collingwood, there's 53,000, 54,000, but the pressure does go up. There's bigger rewards on the line, and, a bigger stage where everyone's watching. So, as I said, like, it's very fortunate, I guess, we get to play again like on a Friday night, same kind of time slot, another massive club that comes over and some really good form. So now that we've done it, we've reviewed it, we can move on and start preparing for Collingwood, Hawthorn.
You probably haven't played as a team this year. You probably haven't played 2 bad games in a row. Like, you came in off 9 straight wins. How much confidence can you take from the body of work that you put in to get to this?
Yeah, I think that goes with sort of allowing us to be in this position of a double chance. Like we've played some really consistent footy, and the back half of the year we didn't lose too many games, and there was some close games, but for us to be able to edge out some of these wins against some really good opponents really puts us in a good position mentally. And as I said, that sort of goes with, we've played a final now. We understand somewhat of the expectation and sort of the atmosphere that's there, and can go out there and actually execute again this week.
Can you read much into the meetings you've had with Hawthorn this year? I dare say Launceston probably not. But,
That was cold. No, it seems to be over the last couple of years you have some really close meetings, besides probably one at the back end of 24. We match up well, and they match up well with us, and as I've sort of touched on a few times, especially sort of the last game was very even, and their form has continued to roll, and they've played some really strong footy against Brisbane. They nearly won, and then on the weekend obviously had a really strong game against GWS away. So I can only imagine sort of what it's going to be like. It'd be very similar to what Collingwood is with their pressure, and they've got some stars and some X factor.
Do you look back at how that game started against the Hawks? They got a really fast start. How you can sort of prevent that from happening again?
Yeah, well, I actually wasn't out there. I was rested that week, so I was in the stands with a pie and chips. So I was just watching, and but I think that's sort of one of the aspects guess of the season that's been really beneficial for us. There's been different ways that we've won. Like we've had to come back from 4 or 5 goals there in a pressure cooker environment on a Friday night, and if that does happen, then we have had that experience, and hopefully it doesn't happen like that. But yeah, there's been different ways that we've won.
As a footy club, I don't know if you've discussed it, but as someone who is part of the footy community, were you disappointed by the booing on Thursday night? Yeah,
obviously I love our fans and how passionate they are, but sometimes there might be a line in terms of respect to a player, and it's not for me to sort of comment on in depth, but you do hear it, and whether it has an effect on the player, on Isaac Quaynor, then there can be a line at times. So I understand the passion, but yeah, sometimes I have to sort of draw the line at some point.
Was that line crossed?
It's between a rock and a hard place, I guess. It's probably not ideal for Isaac to be copping that. you know, as I said, our fans are very passionate. It's a big time game, but I don't think Isaac Quaynell's done too much wrong.
Do you as a group, or do any of your teammates, do you reach out to him either on the night or post and just say, maybe that was a bit unfair and no hard feelings?
Oh, I didn't personally. I think all of us were quite disappointed in the result of the game, and you know, credit to them and Isaac. I think he played a great game, and he'd be pretty happy that they won. So.